I bought what you guys say are the 12 best earbuds. Now here they all are, let's find out if they're any good. Earbuds are kind of weird. They're not really an IEM because they don't seal in your ear with a tip, but they're not really a headphone either. If anything, they're kind of like the open back equivalent of an IEM. You don't fully get that isolation, you get a bit of an open sound. There's a lot of people in the hi-fi community that swear up and down by earbuds. And like I said, these are 12 pairs that you guys on Twitter said are the best ones to buy at or around $20. And some even less. I've also taken measurements of all of these, so let's go through it all the way through and talk about which ones are the best and which ones you probably shouldn't buy. First things up, well, there's these. They are the Fengru PT32s. They have an MMCX connector on the end, which is kind of cool, but they don't come with an MMCX cable. And they're bright. They're very bright sounding. All the graphs I'm showing you today are compensated to diffuse field with a 14 decibel slope. So if the line is flat, then it's close to what people would perceive as neutral for something that goes inside the ear. And these, well, as you can see, they're not quite that. They're very, very shouty, they're very bright, but they're also bloaty, and somehow do all of that without having bass extension or vocal presence. So not my recommended choice. Putting those all the way over here on the end, you can kind of see a bit of a hierarchy I've built, but it doesn't go completely linear. There's some kind of ups and downs as we're going through this. Right next to these is the cat ears from Mimi Pro. These actually have a different chassis from a lot of the rest of the ones you see here on the table. Unfortunately, they do not sound that good. They are very bright and once again have a massive recess around where vocals are. That recess you'll see on a fair number of these, though on some it's much more tolerable than others. Now these are a lot more linear. These are the Miku buds, and yes, you heard me right. Oh, that is cursed, isn't it? Look at that box by Bug Guys. They're more linear than the previous two offerings, but they're extremely bright, especially between 5 and 6 kilohertz. For some people, this might be a plus. For me, I just can't bear it. It's too much treble. And not the good airy kind of treble too, it's all mid-treble. Oh, we're getting tangled up here. You'll notice that the upper treble above that drops off like a stone. Next we have the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Kien 39? Similar story, relative linearity, not much bass performance, and a whole hell of a lot of treble. But not the good kind of treble. They at least don't have a recess in the vocal range or around 3 kilohertz. Vocal range is closer to like 1 to 2K. But these have an even bigger spike between 5 and 6 kilohertz. Let's shift up in the line. And yes, I'm saving the best for last. Oh, also, have a look at this. This is a part of a Sennheiser HE1, a $60,000 headphone. You might have seen me post this on Twitter. It's kind of a bit of an oops. I have a video coming on this pretty soon. It's just taking me a while to edit, so stick around, subscribe, you don't want to miss that. That is an expensive mistake. RY4S, another one that is MMCX detachable cable, but doesn't come with a cable. And very similar to it down here are the Vitos. These are actually pretty popular. They are very, very cheap. And between the two, the Vitos are actually better than the RY4S. RY4Ss, they have bass extension, but they're also bright like the previous offerings were. Vitos still have that brightness, but it's not quite as bad because we still retain some of that treble around 3 kilohertz. The downside is we don't have much bass to balance it out. So the Vitos, not terrible, probably one of the best ones we've had so far in this lineup, but they're still going down here. Moving up from that, the Fail Iris 2.0 and the nice HCK YD30, pictured here in blue and red. The blue is the Iris, the red is the YD30. They are almost the same earbud with the exception that the YD30 has much better treble extension in the upper treble, but it also has a little bit bigger spike. The Iris 2.0 is a little bit warmer. For the most part, they might as well be the same thing, but if you want a little more air, I would go with the nice HCK YD30. Neither of them is excellent, but again, better than the previous in this lineup. The treble spike is the least noticeable in the Iris 2.0, but again, you miss out so much on the treble above 10 kilohertz that it just sounds kind of muffled and bright at the same time. As an honorable mention, these, which let me pull that up, they do not have a great frequency response at all. They do have a lot of bass. These are definitely the best built and most comfortable. These are the ZW Panda PK2. I like the chassis feel of them the most, and they also have a pretty nice cable and a nice connection on the end. The sound is eh. I'd kind of put them right in here. between the Vitos and between the YD30s and the Iris 2.0s. But the comfort for these is the best on the table. So these guys, they'll go right here. Now let's talk about the ones that are good. That is these three. This is the Yungkro X6, the Yungkro RW9, and the Nice I can never pronounce that. Nice HCK EB2S. EB2S. Now you notice right here, the RW9 is in orange, the Yungkro X6 is in red. They're pretty similar in terms of tuning, all things considered. The X6 is a little bit more neutral, whereas the RW9 is a little bit more fun. The RW9 has a little bit more bass also, but the X6 also has more treble above 10 kilohertz, gives you a slightly more airy feel. Now they both suffer from the same problem a lot of these earbuds do, with problems between 3 kilohertz and 6 kilohertz, dips and spikes. Luckily, the actual peak elevation for both of these at 6 kilohertz is similar in level to the rest of the mid-range. So it's not super high. If anything, it's less of a peak there and more of a dip around 3 kilohertz. On both of these, that is audible, but both of these sound considerably better than every other earbud we've tried so far. And between the two, my favorite is the Yungkro X6. But the real winner of today's show, here we go, no surprise. Well, for you guys, because you've seen what's on the table, but for me, it was a surprise, is this, the Nice HK, I did it again, Nice HCK, why did they name it that? EB2S. I have gotten the cable tangled up. Here we go. These are built very well. They have a unique chassis. It's made out of metal. They're light. They're comfortable. They sound the most detailed. They have the best soundstage. They have the most linear response overall. There is only one downside of these, period, across the board, and that's that they don't have the bass performance of the RW9 or the Yungkro X6. If you just need that bass, I would go for the Yungkro X6 or the Yungkro RW9. If you don't care as much about your sub bass, the EB2S is easily the best of all the earbuds I tried at this price point by a long shot. By the way, you know what else I really like? This new Wiggly Air shirt that I made. Look, it says Wiggly Air on the back. You can get this at dmstech.store. Things like this is how I end up funding, well, getting all of this stuff to try out and measure. Now, this is a pretty short video. It's nothing too crazy, but what I want to get at here is that there's a lot more stuff out there than just our standard open closed back headphones and our IEMs. And exploring this is part of the fun of audio. I have used all of these a lot, and I've specifically used these EB2S a very considerable amount since starting filming on this video, well, about a month ago. Something I should note is that on pretty much all of these, you do want to use the foam covers. With every single one of these on the table, if you don't have the foam covers, the treble elevates even more, and the bass just disappears. Not to mention the foam covers are pretty comfortable, and it's sanitary to have these. You change them out every now and then. Luckily, they cost like a fraction of a penny. You can get a whole pack of them very cheap. And different kinds. There's ones like this that are donut shaped. If you need more treble, you could use something like that. And now comes the tough part. I want to go deeper down this rabbit hole. There are people I've spoken to saying that there's many of these earbuds in the $600, $7, even multi-$1,000 range that are absolutely mind-blowing. And now I have to experience that. So if you want to see me try a lot more of these, going up to the next price bracket, $60, $100, a few $100, let me know and I'll start picking some for another roundup. I know this isn't a super crazy detailed video, but I think it's plenty to give us an intro into earbuds. And if you want to pick up one of the sets on this table, well, there's again my recommendations. I'll give you a refresher. The EB2S is the best overall in terms of detail, soundstage, vocals, separation, pretty much everything across the board except for bass performance. If you need more bass, go with either the Yungkro X6 or for a little bit more bass, the Yungkro RW9. But EB2S, Nice HCK, still my favorite at this price range. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you liked it, leave a like down below. Comment letting me know what you want to see in the future. If you want to get active in the community, you can at the forums or Discord, both available at the link in the video description. As always, don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until the next one, guys. Peace.